Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. It is Sunday. Hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday. We got a couple, 2-3 inches of snow there last night. Came down pretty hard too. And of course it was very wet, so you know, by afternoon today, I mean, a lot of that was kind of melting and everything. But it did make the roads, well, not the main roads, but, you know, like the neighborhood roads a little bit slippery because of the, you know, the fact that, you know, the plows were a little bit late coming out to take care of it. But I still went out it just the same anyway, had something to eat. But I hear tomorrow the sun will come out and melt more of this. But yeah, so now tonight when I was coming back, because after about 4 o'clock, it gets really dark. Well, the school up there had their lights going, and now it looks great because now there's snow on the ground and everything like it's supposed to look. So everybody was over there walking through the light show and taking pictures and everything when I was coming home. So yeah, now see, this it was been running up to this point before, but you know, there wasn't any snow on the ground, so it didn't look right, you know. But now that you got snow on the ground, now it looks right. So now it really is something to see. And that's the light show that you see at the end of my videos here. You know, for this time of the year, I'll put that ending on in there, and that's what I'm talking about, is that. And in that video that I put at the end, you'll notice there isn't any snow on the ground there because I took that before the snow even came. So I ought to try and update that, you know, and do it now while the snow's there. So anyway, you know, there's been a lot of talk online here. I don't know if any of you people watch the Young Turks. You got Anna Kasparian and Shank on there, and you know, I really never could watch them. I don't know. It's just they both have a very. It comes across as they have a huge ego, swelled heads, you know, and. You know, they claim to be, or at least they were for a while, progressive talk. But lately, you know, they kind of changed a little bit, especially after the election. Now they seem to be talking a little bit more middle of the road between Republican and Democrat. And now a lot of their viewers are really pissed off. And on top of that, they've lost some of their own staff, and they've went and spun off their own shows. And they're not too happy over there, Chank and Anna there. They're kind of pissed at the people that are, you know, calling them out and saying, hey, you know, you guys, you're starting to sound like Republicans here, like MAGA, you know, and we're not going to watch anymore. I mean, this is kind of funny that this is happening at the same time Jonah Scarborough, you know, is going through his own show meltdown. And now the Young Turks is going through it. It just seems like, you know, the true colors of certain people are starting to come out, which means, you know, maybe the Young Turks, they weren't really progressive in the first place. They're pretending to be something they weren't, you know. I don't know. But, you know, these things happen, and, you know, and usually it's good when it does, because when you you get rid of the pretenders. You're left with the real McCoys, and that's what's happening right now. We're getting rid of the pretenders that we've been listening to, and now we're getting the real people coming out of those things, and there'll be a much better, more vocal cause for democracy and the Democrats. Okay, I got two videos, and both the videos discuss this. I don't even know if you want to call it a department in the government, because it's really not. DOGE. You ever heard of that? DOGE. And it's run by three assholes, and and they're in charge of streamlining the government, so they think it's going to make it work better. But everything they're talking about doing is only going to upend it. So let's listen to these videos here, and we'll come back and talk on the other end.
It's all over. Every single government department, program, grant programs, contracts, it is everywhere. And so when we look into a deep dive into this massive problem that's caused America to be $36 trillion in debt, we're going to have to go into all kinds of buckets. And that's how I'll be separating things on the Oversight Subcommittee on DOGE. We'll be looking at everything from government-funded media programs like NPR that spread nothing but Democrat propaganda. We'll be going into grant programs that fund things like sex apps in Malaysia, toilets in Africa, all kinds of programs that don't help the American people.
First of all, can we discuss, they called it DOGE. Like we're elder millennials and you wanted a fun name for your new project. So you called it DOGE. Second of all, I love the irony of creating an entirely new department in order to combat inefficiency within the government, run by three people. It has to be run by three people. And if that's not the definition of inefficiency, I don't know what is. But third, and definitely not least important, I'm so glad that we are bringing on Marjorie Taylor Greene into DOGE so that she can defund NPR and get rid of toilets in Africa. And what's even more embarrassing, by the way, is when she referenced sex apps in Malaysia, she was most likely referring to JomCare, which is an app that was created to reduce the spread of HIV and other STDs in Malaysia, that was given a $3.4 million grant from the National Institutes of Health. And by toilets in Africa, she was probably referring to the USAID funding for the sanitation programs in Africa. Reduces the spread of disease, brings clean water to people, and creates a sanitary environment. But what even grinds my gears more than any of this, any of the things I've already mentioned, is the fact that DOGE is separate from the government. It's not going to be a government department. It's going to exist privately, outside of the government.
That doesn't sound so efficient.
Well, we don't even know if it's not going to be an office of the government either. From what we've read thus far this evening, it's not going to be inside the government. And so that eliminates any concerns about them having to divest their personal holdings and any of the businesses they run.
They're going to defund government projects. They're effectively in charge and running areas of the government. And they're not even a part of the government. They were not elected to this position. 2 of the 3 have never worked in government. 1 of the 3 should never have worked in government, should still quit her government job. And it's government efficiency that is designed to cut any projects that help people, because that is considered a waste of money in their eyes.
Both of these men have conflicts of interest or have investigations or have massive contracts with the U.S. government, and they will be in a position to cut programs, cut jobs, cut budgets, and at the very least, see where all the money is getting spent. So even if they're not officially inside the government, it feels like a conflict, no?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But the question, too, is, I mean, they're talking, at least Elon Musk in recent weeks was talking about cutting $2 trillion from the federal budget.
Someone who you did not elect, someone who has no experience governing, is going to be making decisions outside of government limits, but decisions about governing situations where he has a personal vested interest to do so. And this is just allowed.
Over $500 billion that's spent every year right now was not even authorized by Congress in the first place. Part of this is exposing for the public the extent of that rot and waste, but then to take steps first through executive action and then laying the groundwork for broader change through legislation as well to rein in that deficit, to rein in that budget. We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government.
You know how lately, especially, businesses will cut 20% of their workforce in order to save money and increase their profits, and everyone within the remaining workforce has to work basically as hard as 2 people because they're not replacing any of those employees that they laid off, but they're paying you the same amount of money. You just have to work harder, and then the CEO ends up making more profit every single year because he laid off 20% of his workforce. That's what DOGE wants to do to the government. They want to run the United States like it's a business. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that think, yeah, get a good businessman, then they'll run America like a business. It's not a business. The goal, at least in our current capitalistic setup of society, the goal of a business is to make more profit. Now, think of the companies you know in your life. Where does that profit go? It goes straight to the top. Do you think the employees of the company share in the profits? No. They're taken advantage of, they're overworked so that the CEO can make more and more profit every single year. And that's how these businesses are run. The goal of a government, shocker, is to govern and take care of its people. It's not a business, and it shouldn't be run like a business. And even if it was to be run like a business, which again, it's not, and it shouldn't be, why are we picking the worst businessmen in America to run the business of the United States? Every business that Trump has had has been run into the ground and had to declare bankruptcy. Every business that Elon Musk has had has made him unbelievable profit at the expense of his employees. You're not the CEO in the situation where America is run like a business. You're not on the board of directors. You're not on the board of investors. You're one of the employees making just above minimum wage, barely has any benefits, and is working 3 jobs all rolled into one.
A key step to get there, a mass headcount reduction in the federal workforce by identifying the minimum number of employees required at an agency in order to function. Also on the agenda, requiring federal employees to work in person 5 days a week, which could, in their words, result in a wave of voluntary terminations that we welcome. If federal employees don't want to show up, American taxpayers shouldn't pay them for the COVID-era privilege of staying home. Another additional potential chopping block number for them is $500 million for public broadcasting and $300 million for, quote, progressive groups like Planned Parenthood. Important to note, Congress authorizes the budget for those programs. I'm Connell McShane. This is the News Nation Political Minute.
Starting to sound like that 20% employee layoff I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video. Also, can we talk about what a red flag it is that this department that is not a part of the government is allowed to eliminate government jobs while not being a part of the government? Because I don't like that. This department is a gift to Elon Musk for how much money he spent on Trump's campaign. That's what it is. It is a gift because it allows him to, at the taxpayer's expense, cut government spending for things that matter in order to benefit large corporations so that, again, at your expense, they can make more money. So I recommend buckling up and tightening your belts, because every public service that you use is in danger. Things that hadn't even crossed your mind that were public services could be taken away.
So when I said at the start here that DOGE is not really a federally funded agency, I meant what I said, because these people that run this fucking thing were not elected into those positions, okay? And they are not answerable to the government. They are supposedly on the outside of it to give the illusion to the public that they are not tainted by the establishment, when it's anything but. I mean, the three people that head this thing are themselves billionaires, okay? It's as very much establishment as you can get. And the fact that they are outside of the system says they don't want to answer to the federal government, period. They want to be able to do what they want, okay? And for them, now's the time for them to do all the things they wanted to do for decades, that they threatened people around the country that they were going to do. And many things at one time even Republicans didn't want to see happen. But here we are today, and now you got people actually supporting it, not realizing, or at least not really thinking, that what they are supporting and voting for are things, measures, tactics that are going to disrupt their own lives considerably, okay? Things like Social Security and, Medicare, Medicaid, these things that people depend on in this country, okay? These things are going to be put on the chopping block as a way to cut $2 trillion out of the budget. Why do they have to go to the mandated, the mandatory spending items to chop? Why do they always do that? Why can't they cut from the defense budget $2 trillion or something, or why is that they always? And it's because they're not doing it in order to balance the budget or whatever the hell you want to call it. They're doing it because they can get the money out of those things that they've been wanting to get their hands on. They're going to say, cutting out of Social Security. So that means a lot of people are not going to get the money back that they've been paying into their whole working life. Okay? And why do they want that money? That's not going to go to the fucking government. That's going to go to the fucking people at the top, 1%. Okay? It always goes to the top. It never goes to where they claim they're going to put it, all right? So they're not going to, cut spending. What they're going to do is take that money, that $2 trillion, and that's going to quietly go inside their pockets, okay? That's kind of like what that fucking United Healthcare thing's been doing, okay? Denying people their coverage, right? So they could take that extra money and brag about, look how much money we made. That's what they're gonna do here with this DOGE. Same fucking thing, and ain't it kind of funny that these people that are running it, really are just the dregs of people in our society, the greedy and all them. I mean, do you really trust them to do the right thing? Okay, of course they're not going to attach, cutting money for anything that's going to affect the business world, right? But, Social Security and all them things, that's not attached to business, right? I mean, that's, all that does is require the, people to pay into it, all right? That's a government program. It ain't got nothing to do with that. But no, those are the things they want to get rid of, because for them, hey, we can get that money back. We can get that money back just by denying them the payout. We can, because what do you think? You think they're going to give everybody refunds? When it's their Social Security, like, go, here's all your money back. Okay, I mean, that would be the honest thing to do. If you don't want Social Security, if you don't want to pay into it, then give everybody their fucking money back that's been paying into it. Okay, and just stop taking money out of the people's checks from here on out. Let people put that money in a savings account on their own. I mean, if you don't want the government, involved in that. But there's no reason to do that, because it's always been there. It's always worked well when people leave it alone. Okay, when you start fucking with it, that's when we get problems. All right, but I just feel like nobody really gives too much thought to these things. You know, everybody's always clapping and applauding when they talk about, oh, we're going to take this amount of money out, you know, to pay down the deficit. You know, I thought conservatives were fiscally conservative. They never were. Every time they got into office, they always double, triple the fucking debt that the previous president had. Okay, look, I mean, all you got to do is go on a website to find the history of the national debt, and you could see under which presidency the debt went up considerably. All right, yeah, it did go up under Democrats, but always more under Republicans, always a lot more. And they campaign on cutting costs, cutting the deficit, and they never do it, ever. Which is why a lot of times that's what brings our economy down into the gutter, because, you know, when they keep raising the deficit, it devalues the dollar, you know, considerably. So these people are not fiscally conservative at all. They're anything but. And, you know, this, I think, you know, after everything's been said and done under Biden, as he draws his presidency to a close, when we jump into the Trump years again, we're going to notice, we're going to feel the difference big time, all of us, okay? And there's not going to be any laughing and giggling anymore after that, okay? Because everyone's going to be suffering, including MAGA. And if they're stupid enough to buy into the story that, you know, Fox is prepping for these fucks here, that, oh, it's Biden's fault that we're suffering, okay, then they've drank the Kool-Aid so much they don't have a brain anymore. It's melted, okay? Because I know that's the excuse that the Fox and all of them are going to be putting out there, that any bad things that happen under Trump, that's because of Biden. It was under him that this is happening. No. Trump already told you what he's going to do when he gets in there. The economists already said how quickly that's going to affect the economy. So there is no, you know, tie into Biden here with this. When Trump goes in there, it's Trump from then on. He's the one that's going to have to answer for anything bad that happens in this country at that point. Okay? I'm sorry. This, you know, because the truth is truth. And when he gets in there and he starts cutting and slashing like a goddamn samurai, okay, into the country's, you know, systems, you know, you don't think that's going to have an immediate impact on the economy? You're bullshitting yourself if you think that ain't going to happen. It does. It will. And the only one is going to do that and promising to do that is Trump. Biden's never done that. So, but no, this DOGE isn't a federal agency, and then, like I said, I don't see how they're even allowed to even do anything, as, you know, especially when it comes to guiding what the money's going to be spent. You know, who the fuck are they? You know, I don't see how that's even allowed. I really don't. But you think the Supreme Court or anybody else is going to say, oh, they can't do it? Nope. So, right or wrong, they're going to do it anyway. And the idea that they want to run the country like a business is stupid. You know, because you got the president who's gone bankrupt 7 times, cheated on his taxes, and Musk that's, you know, laid off, I don't know how many fucking hundreds and hundreds of people there just so he could make more money to go to the top. I mean, you're going to trust these people to run this country as a business when they can't even run their own little businesses when they had them? Come on. There's only one outcome in this scenario here with that, and that's the economy collapses, the dollar depreciates, so it's going to take a wheelbarrow to buy a loaf of bread, just like what happened in Germany. You're going to see that. I know people are just laughing, say, oh, it's never going to happen. Yeah, okay. Fuck around and find out, my friends. All right, let's go to a commercial break, and we'll come back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me. This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Breaking the law, 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 breaking the law.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart. I believe in helping people in crisis, whether they are from Lebanon, Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan, or any troubled area around the world. I ask you to join me in supporting the International Rescue Committee's life-changing work. The IRC is on the front lines of humanitarian crises, and IRC teams stay on the ground as long as they are needed, so displaced people can rebuild their lives. Your support today matters. It can provide medicine, emergency food, critical supplies, and many life-changing programs. It is a gift of hope when families need it most. I've seen the difference caring people like you can make. So please, if you can, make a gift right now.
America's men and women in uniform need real leadership at the Pentagon. Character, courage, honor, experience. Those are what a real leader brings to the fight. Pete Hegseth isn't just unqualified to be Secretary of Defense. He's embarrassing, sick, struggles with alcohol, drunken rages in bars and strip clubs, fired from 2 veterans organizations for financial and personal misconduct. While at Fox, Hegseth paid off a woman after she reported he sexually assaulted her. Pete Hegseth's own mother calls him an abuser of women. These aren't the qualities of a leader. They're weaknesses for our enemies to exploit. Pete Hegseth isn't just unqualified. He isn't just unprepared. Pete Hegseth is downright dangerous for our troops. He's a risk America can't take.
Shit. Pants, please. One day, you're gonna get caught. One day. Nice luggage.
FAFO is the greatest thing that happened to the internet in I know 10 years. When I say I done laughed, I have laughed till I've cried. Watching these MAGA people figure out how bad they messed up in real time, it really is a thing of beauty. And I got word today that they have issued a warning that we better stop. That this FAFO thing needs to calm down, and we need to stop making fun of them and laughing at them. They don't want to be laughed at. It's not funny. There are consequences. You talking about the consequences we told y'all about before y'all voted like this? Because we're not laughing at the consequences, because ultimately, we are going to have to suffer the consequences of your actions. We are going to have to suffer for your uninformed and ignorant vote. So we're not laughing at the consequences. We are laughing because we told you and you didn't listen. And now you all over there acting befuddled, bewildered, and confused that things are happening as we said they would. We are laughing at the sheer amount of people that have Googled, how can I change my vote? The fact that y'all don't know you can't change your vote is not only funny, it's sad, and I really don't have words for it. And we're going to keep laughing. We're going to laugh for the next 4 years at y'all stupidity. We're going to laugh. Because we told you. We warned you. We explained. We did everything that we were supposed to do. And y'all still did what y'all wanted to do. So yes, we gonna laugh. Because what you don't get to do is be the villain and the victim. Pick a side and be on it. That is not how this works. You don't get to vote Cruella de Vil in the office and then walk around asking where all the puppies went. You know where they went. You voted Cruella in. That's where they went. So we gonna laugh. Oh, we gonna laugh. We gonna have a hearty chuckle at your expense. So deal with it. Great day.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. All right. Another video here talking about that and a couple other things. The video is about 16 minutes long, I guess. And let's go to that, and we'll come back.
Welcome to iHip News Pumps. What you got? Well, I wanted to bring up the Imaginary Committee, DOGE, today. And because of the United Healthcare assassination, we have had a lot of discussions about healthcare. And something that I found very interesting is this is what Vivek Ramaswamy said about Elon Musk before they were together as the co-chairs of DOGE.
I think Tesla is increasingly beholden to China. I have no reason to think that Elon won't jump like a circus monkey when Xi Jinping calls in the hour of need.
Elon Musk has, I think, demonstrated his willingness to change his political tunes based on the favors that he gets to be able to do business in China.
I think some of his recent comments about Taiwan suggest as much, where he says that Taiwan should become a special administrative region of China, annexed to China. Well, guess what? He got a nice attaboy on the back, a little pat on the back, when his Shanghai factory and regulator in China gave him a nice little tax break within days after him having made that comment about Taiwan.
So that is our co-chair of the Imaginary Committee, DOGE. And so now, as with everybody in the Trump orbit, you don't like somebody, you say bad things about him, and then you are just bestie friends. So now, yesterday, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy went to Congress, and they were lobbying about their cuts to the budget because they're getting rid of anything that needs cuts. And so after they met with Republican leaders, John Thune, who is the incoming Speaker of the House, Majority Leader of the House, he said they were soon to announce plans to cut Social Security. And so then it ran on Fox News, which I was surprised about, that their letting everybody know what the plan is. Kylie, show what they were playing on Fox News.
Nothing is sacrosanct. Nothing. They're going to put everything on the table.
That's what they told lawmakers. Everything is on the table, and that includes Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
So I'm like, you're going to, and here, okay, explain this to me like I'm 5. Republicans call Social Security an entitlement. My basic understanding of the premise is that money is taken from your paycheck throughout the course of your working life. And then based on that, you receive compensation based on what you put in. Is that right?
Yes.
So why is it an entitlement? Because you've put the money into the fund.
It's the same reason they call abortion murder. It's all from the same playbook. And I'm 0% surprised that Republicans are going to go after Social Security, because I was 0% surprised that they overturned Roe. Mm-hmm. They have shown us for decades who they are. They have been chomping at the bit to go after Social Security, and they finally have the most heartless administration that will allow them to do it. They have 5 billionaires in the cabinet. They finally can say, yes, we're all in for profits. Let's dick over everybody else because they're all drinking the Kool-Aid, the base. It won't matter what we do. Our leader can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody will give a shit. So it's always been this type of branding to demonize the poor and demonize working class people. And they have messaged it to where they have people that will vote against their own self-interest. Millions of people that voted for him are on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, et cetera. And they voted against their interests because the Republicans have been messaging this for decades. The demonization of the poor has been one of their most successful messaging machines, aside from the abortion issue.
The irony to me is that we have all these billionaires in the cabinet. We've got the Dogers. You know, Elon Musk is the single richest person in the world. We know Elon Musk made a lot of his money from government subsidies. But for them to sit in judgment and call Social Security an entitlement, and people that live paycheck to paycheck on Social Security that barely get by, that they are saying you don't need the money that you put in. I find it to be so disgusting and so cruel. I just find the whole thing cruel that they do not care about what's going on in somebody's life that's not a billionaire. It's not shocking to me that that's what they're doing, but I just find it abhorrent, the whole thing top to bottom. And so the other things that were mentioned in the things they were going to cut were veterans' health care, which I feel like veterans are always on the chopping block for the Republicans. They're pro-military, yay, 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 military. And yet when servicemen come home and need care, they don't give a shit. I mean, that's just like a common theme that I've noticed in my lifetime. And then we have the National Institute for Health, that's on the chopping block, which is like research, Alzheimer's research, that kind of thing. And then Pell Grants, so lower income people can go to college. That's on the chopping block, among others. And then Head Start. I mean, it comes back to they want the public to be dumb. Because when you're dumb, you cannot critically think and realize that who you're voting for is actually not doing anything for you. And it really, I was really sad when I heard it.
I have been sad about the Republican exploitation of the general American public for profits for a really, really, really long time. And they have been echoing and messaging that they wanted to go after all of these things for decades. It really started with Ronald Reagan, and he wanted to give massive tax breaks to the rich. And since that time, you've seen the shrinking of the middle class, and you've seen the explosion of wealth at the top, and then a lot more people in poverty. And this demonizing of people that receive social services or that are on Social Security, they see that as a missed opportunity for them to profit from it, just like the health insurance companies. It's a place for them to profit from, not help people, profit from. So they want to take out just the help that Social Security provides because it's billions and billions of dollars. And they're like, oh, wait, we're missing an opportunity here. We need to profit from it because the one thing that American culture has taught people is capitalism and profits are right up here at the very top of the list. These are the things that we value the most, and they value individualism over collectivism. This is not sustainable. It's not a sustainable system for our country, and that's why we're in the decline of the American empire, because we value profits over everything else. Think about the most conservative Republican Christians that you know. When they say they're going to vote for Trump, what do they mention?
Money, taxes, economy.
Yes, because they value that over their moral principles that they allegedly get from their faith. And because Christianity is inherently such a, at least where the part of the country that we live in, is such a individual. Jesus loves you. Jesus is your personal and savior. God changed the light from red to yellow to slow you down, and all of these little magic tricks that are going on. It's the perfect audience to recruit into this individualistic society. And so they are able to recruit them in by saying, oh, this is, it's all about you, screw the poor people, screw the sick people. And so I think when the autopsy is done on all of this, the death of America is just this greed. And then you get this dumbed down American public that's really religious to fall prey to all of these things. You never hear, ever. You never hear these big Jesus freak politicians like Mike Johnson talk about healthcare.
Oh, giving it to people. No.
You never hear him talk about the poor. You never hear any of this stuff. Our governor of our state is the biggest Bible thumper on the planet, Kevin Stitt. And I always go over and look at his Twitter. It's all about business and profits and shaving programs. He never, ever talks about helping the poor, helping the needy, helping the sick. If anything, there's a demonization of people that need these services and that need assistance or they need help. And instead of having empathy for them, the Republican Party has successfully demonized them. And then they've taken it a step further. They've recruited them to vote for them. Seriously. I mean, that's what's happened.
They get an A+.
Totally.
For how they've messaged it, how they've dolled it all up and wrapped it up in a bow, because these people fucking are buying it, and they're the ones that are going to suffer the most.
Because they scare the shit out of them with this, oh, send your kids to school. The woke liberals are whacking wieners, and then, they're executing babies. And, these drag queens are going ape shit bananas with your kids, trying to read books to them. And, oh my God, we got to ban these books. And they get them all riled up on all of this bullshit. Total bullshit, because the end game is Elon Musk, Vivek, and all these other billionaires to be more enriched by exploitation of the masses.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's a perfect segue, because I just wanted to bring in your weekly update of how big of a nut Nancy Mace is. I mean, she is a nut. She has gone crazy on this bathroom deal. I have never seen anybody on planet Earth that gives a shit more about who's peeing next to her. I mean, she is so crazy that, South Carolina should be proud. I mean, she's in the Florida, Oklahoma area of crazy representatives in Congress. Here's what she did yesterday.
All right, so some tranny protesters showed up at the Capitol today to protest my bathroom bill, but they got arrested. Poor things. So I have a message for the protesters who got arrested. You ready? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
The slur that she uses at the beginning of that is abhorrent and just unacceptable. But here's the deal. You said at the beginning of that, I've never seen a bigger nut, blah, blah, blah. I have.
There's probably lots.
And in our community, a friend of mine was campaigning very hard for a female Democrat that was running for governor here. And somebody found out that she was working on this campaign and sent her a text. And she said, yes, I'm supporting her because I support women's rights, blah, blah, blah. This woman that lives in our community, whom you know, sends back a scroller of a text about transgender people about drag queen workshops for children. This is 2 years ago. A woman that lives in Oklahoma is wound up like a cheap clock because she believes that there is this grand conspiracy that transgender people have united with drag queens who've also united with the gay agenda to try to somehow convert children to be transgender gay drag queens, I guess. That's what the conspiracy is. And to this woman, it was very real. She wanted to invite the other person to go have coffee to discuss this pressing issue in the state of Oklahoma, which is all bullshit. But the reason that Nancy Mace continues to talk about this and continues to do this is what she's doing isn't just happening in a vacuum. She's getting likes, retweets. There's a whole cult named QAnon that's all chips in on all of this stuff. And FYI, guess who's so excited about Kash Patel's appointment? The most excited people. Who? QAnon.
Oh, of course. But I thought you were going to say Russia. I mean, it could go either way.
QAnon. They are so excited about this. And so Nancy Mace is a representative of millions of Americans that have been radicalized to think that these amorphous things like drag queens and transgender people are charging after children. Meanwhile, I can give you rock solid evidence as to where child predation occurs. And most of the time, it occurs in churches.
That's right.
Call me crazy, but I mean, come on. But Nancy Mace, the reason she keeps doing this is because she keeps getting the clout, the internet clout for doing it, because millions of Americans like this shit.
They do, and that's what's so scary. Just a pop quiz before we go. You would think that there are hundreds of millions of transgender people running around trying to take over the world. Do you know what percentage of the U.S. population is trans?
Yes.
What is it?
1%.
Is that not crazy? The disproportionate false equivalence of all this?
Well, and I just want to say to any transgender people or people that know somebody that is trans, I am so sorry.
Sorry.
It's hard enough to be an adult and to be a human. And then you have all of these rabid, crazy Bible thumpers that are deranged coming after you. And the people who have trans kids, which we know a wonderful couple that has a beautiful trans daughter, and they have to live in Oklahoma in this horrific space where people say, oh, we're all about kids. Mm-hmm. We're all about Jesus. We're all about family values. But our side project is we like to bully the shit out of anybody that's gay, trans, drag queen, wants to have premarital sex, on and on and on and on. And so it's really, really sad. But for some reason, this has taken a hold of the cult population of the American public that buys into all this crap. And the majority of them, I'm just going to say it, the majority of them are hardcore Bible thumpers. The woman that we're talking about, nut job crazy Christian. I mean, whacked out Bible thumper beyond comprehension.
Certainly the evidence that we have living in Oklahoma is 100% says that.
I've always found the more open-minded, accepting people in my life are not that overtly psychotically religious. And so, I mean, I think we're long past due to address the crazy Christian issue in the United States. And hopefully there's a politician with balls enough to address it.
Well, let's hope.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Right. Messaging, my friends, messaging is what the Democrats need to focus on for the next 2 years if they intend to reclaim both houses in our government, okay? And that messaging, as I said, many times before, requires the Democrats have internet supremacy, that they get their message out en masse, okay? And I don't mean one voice, I mean hundreds of voices. They got to pepper the internet with them. Drown out the fucking right wing. Because the right wing has been drowning us out for many years. We're always like 2 steps behind them all the time when it comes to messaging. And to do things right, you always have to get ahead of the ball in life. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you want to do something, they used to say, in the military, be 2% smarter than what than the stuff you're doing. Okay, in other words, stay ahead of the ball. Okay, and Democrats haven't been doing a very good job of that when it comes to messaging. They always know what the topics are that people are concerned about, but they can't seem to sell it well enough to gain them the momentum that they need to hold on to that majority that they have, as far as speaking for the people in the country. I mean, every issue that they take up is a majority issue. It's not something that's how can I say it, where the right wing is talking about bathrooms and fucking gay people and blacks and and Latinos and you know what I'm saying. They focus on the things that few people really ever think about until one of their big mouths open up and brings it out. Okay, then it becomes fucking a viral issue because they dominate the airwaves with that bullshit. And instead of countering that and reminding people, look, we're not voting because of this shit. Okay, remember what you're struggling here for. This is what we're talking about. These are the things that are important. Okay, these are the most important things. What they're talking about is about getting into your bedrooms, getting into your uterus, getting into people's privacy, okay, to control your life. That's not what this country's about. It never was, even though they want to make it out like that's the thing to do, that this is America. It ain't. The messaging from the Democrats has always been about, keeping the options and the door open to the American opportunity. All right? To have that American dream, to be able to succeed, to be able to get somewhere in life, to be somebody. And for some reason, the right wing has given that up. I guess maybe they figure, it ain't worth it. Why deal with that when you can, shit on your neighbor? And these people like to go around and call themselves Christian conservatives, the party of family values. I haven't seen much of that coming out of that side of the fucking political aisle here for a long time. There really isn't such a thing anymore with Republicans as values, family values, or morality, or anything you want to attach there to that tries to lift that anvil onto a high pedestal, because it's not getting there. They are in the gutter, and they are happily ensconced in the gutter, and that's where they are. That's not where family values belongs. Okay, I'm afraid that these people are sadly mistaken if they think that by being the way they are, they're actually on the side of righteousness. Okay, and they're not. The government's not here to carry a religious flag. Okay, we have a flag already, and it has nothing on it that says anything about Christianity. It is a flag about our government, about the unity of our society. Whether you're Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, whatever, Muslim, okay, we're supposed to all be represented under that flag we have. But that ain't enough for, see, the right wing. They want to separate. They want to divide. Okay, that's what they want to do. That's their whole focus, because when you divide and you create chaos, that's when you can slip in there and screw people over. And that's what they did. They created, when Trump was running for president, he created a lot of chaos. I don't think anybody can disagree with me on that point. He created a lot of chaos while he was running. Okay, he said inflammatory things that he knew would upset a lot of people, and while he was doing that, he gets elected president. And that's how people get hoodwinked. That's how we end up finding out we fucked up. Because when there's chaos going on, people like Trump will do a scandal, and no one will know about it. Okay. So whenever the country is like going through what it's going through right now, be on the lookout for things being planned and orchestrated, like this DOGE thing here, and all this talk about cutting Social Security and all. Believe me, they're gonna do it. They're going to do it because they have it the easiest time ever right now to be able to accomplish that. So if you think that, oh, he's just talking, he's just joking, he don't mean it. No. He definitely means it now. Okay? He definitely means it now, because now is the time. He's got everything he needs right now, Trump, to be able to lay down these cuts. You know? And you know, Elon Musk. I mean, what position in government does he hold anyway? Really? What is he, the new vice president? I mean, do they? Because you haven't seen much of J.D. Vance, right? It's always been Trump and Musk. Trump and Musk. It's like, well, what the hell? You know, how the hell did he get to be like what is, you know, like the co-chair to the presidency? You know, and like I told people before Trump won, okay, he won't really be the president once he's elected in there. They just need him to keep his foot in the door to hold that seat for the Republican Party, or MAGA, whatever they are today, okay? They just needed him to put his ass in that chair. Everything else that happens after that mostly won't be Trump, but it'll be Musk, Vance, you know, the other dingbats that they've been trying to get into seats in the cabinet. They will be the ones running the country. And I'll tell you something, it's not going to be as easy a thing for them to do that, because they're all wealthy, okay? They all have egos, you know, and it's going to be like, watch it. Remember how Congress was under Biden? They fought and they fought and they fought, and Christ, they couldn't get anything done. That's what's going to happen here with these personalities that Trump has been picking, okay? None of them qualified to do their jobs, but every one of them has an opinion that they know everything, okay? They know everything, especially that clown from Fox News. Okay, you think that guy is going to be, you can work with that guy? No, you can't. He's going to drive people stark raving mad, okay? He's going to show up drunk. He's going to start grabbing women by the crotch, okay, in front of everybody. He's going to start pulling shit while he's there, and he ain't going to be doing his job. He's just going to be there goofing off and shooting his mouth off, and people are going to, you know, say, you know, I'm sick of this guy. And before you know it, there's going to be infighting. You see, because Trump can't get the best people to do these jobs because nobody wants to be around him. Anyone who's got a brain knows Trump is not the guy you want to work with. You don't want your name attached to his, because he will bring you down into the gutter. Like so many people that he's ever worked with in the past, so many lawyers, all these people, okay? Nobody with any brains and any credibility to do these jobs wants to be appointed by him. They would just flat out say no. So what's that leave Trump to pick? You know, Hulk Hogan. Okay, you know, Fox News clown there, whatever his name. I can't remember these fuckers' names. But okay, he has to reach into the bottom of the barrel and get out the candy that nobody likes. You know? And all that matters to him is that they will kiss his ring. That whenever he barks, they jump. That's all that matters to him, okay? But at the same time, he's not really going to be doing a whole lot of work, okay? He never did the first time when he was president either. He spent more time playing golf than any other president that we ever had before him. Did you know that? He was always on the golf course. Even during COVID, what was he doing? He was riding around on a golf cart. He fucking tipped one over while he was playing. Remember when they showed that? He was driving and he turned a corner and that whole goddamn... I mean, he's out there fucking around, okay? That's what he does. So if people think he's going to take the job serious this time, you know, I doubt it. He just... First of all, some people are saying he's already showing signs that he's dementia setting in or something like that. So he may not even be able to finish a 4-year term. It'll be like what Reagan. I mean, he started off fine, but in the second term he was more of a figurehead, you know. And George H.W., the vice president, was really, you know, the one that was running the presidency during Reagan's second term, because Reagan was he had Alzheimer's, you know. And they kept that from the public. It didn't come out until way after the fucking fact, you know. But yeah, he was suffering with that, and you know, that's the way Trump is going to be. I mean, he's going to be the oldest president, okay, that we have here, elected president, the oldest, okay. Because you know, he's well, if he puts in a full 4 years, that's going to make him the oldest, right? Even older than Biden. So there you go. So I like how quickly all that talk about age and all that stuff just kind of whimpered out, you know, evaporated, you know, when Biden dropped out, because then they didn't have that argument anymore to bolster Trump. Now that argument got turned around on them. But yeah, this is really really a fucking mess, because like I said, you got so many elements of the right wing out there pulling and tugging and trying to get their things that they've been wanting to get done. You got people like Nancy Mace out there acting like a dumbass, and you know, and people just coming out of the goddamn woodwork. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, they're just, it's like they're all ready to cash in their fucking chips or something, you know, at Trump's casino. They've been waiting on it, you know, all this time. And you know, it's a bittersweet kind of thing to see MAGA melting right now, as the days go by, because they're learning more and more about what they really voted for, and trying to claim that they didn't know. Well, look, you can't be the villain and be the goddamn victim at the same time. You know, you can't do that. You willingly clapped and applauded at things Trump was saying, no matter how nasty or inappropriate they were, okay? You clapped and applauded all those things, and now, you know, after everything you've said, that, oh, he's just joking, he's just, you know, now you're finding out, you know, to your amazement, that no, he wasn't joking. The things he was saying, they came from the heart. He meant what he said. Some of you people, you know, you just, you probably never met anybody like that, I think, some of you anyway. I have. I've met a lot of people like that, you know, in my life, and I'll tell you, you see the signs of these people when they're doing something, and you say, whoa, that reminds me of so-and-so. You know, I see that all the time when I hear Trump talk. I see that when he's up there with the, you know, getting attention, and I see that look on his face. You know, he glows, like, you know, when he loves it, when people are, you know, up there clapping and applauding to him, no matter what he says, you know. I mean, he likes the idea that he can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it, because that's been his goal his whole life, to be so rich and powerful that he can break the law and get away with it, because he's got the money to do it. Well, that's what he is now. You know, Kingpin, you know, that comic book villain, Kingpin, okay? I think he's got more clout than even that fella. Okay, but yeah, I mean, this is what we have now. And do you really think that he's not going to do this stuff now that he's got everything he needs in his hands to actually do it? Come on, don't kid yourself. You know, you people in MAGA, you stepped into the shit without looking. We tried to point it out. It's right there, and you just stepped right in it. Okay? And now that you got shit all over your shoes, you're bitching at people around you, okay, because the shit was there. But it's like, we told you it was there. You know? Some of you are trying to say, so, it smells good. Okay? Those are the idiots in MAGA that, you know, really are just, they're the part of the reason why the brain level in that whole group of people is so diminished, is that they got too many people like that in there that just are there to be mean-spirited, and they don't give a fuck about whatever happens to them or anybody else, okay? Fine. You want to be that way, that in your life, go ahead. Go ahead, I don't care. Just don't drag me down with you. That's all I'm asking. Okay? Don't take me down with you. Don't take people you know down with you. Family, friends who don't agree with you. Okay? Never did any damn thing to you, but no. You're going to take them down anyway, because, hey, What the hell? I mean, that's what you people think like, right? You know, everything is about you, okay? You think you live in this country all by yourself? Jeez. Oh, God, I don't know. It's really a historic thing. I remember I told you way back that no matter what happens, if Trump wins or loses, that the result is going to be a historic moment in this country. It's actually going to be that. I can see that now. We're gonna have a historic time, and it doesn't have to be a good historic time. It can also be a bad historic time, just like World War II. We're going to be somewhere in between that, you know, between World War II and good times. We're not going to be so much on the good side. We're going to be more on the World War II side, okay? And if we're not careful, we could go all the way over that. So that's where we are now. All right, that's it for today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the work week. So subscribe, comment, and share. Keep your ears open for health-related matters. And what are you doing? Digging. Christ, are you digging for oil? Jeez. Cat. Anyway, keep your ears open for health-related matters, and treat each other nice out there while you're shopping, and don't run over anybody. Okay? It gets dark early, so I'll talk to you guys later.